So we're out here. There's still some frost on the ground, but it's finally warm enough to work on this truck. There's the transmission, and here is all the parts. Let's put the transmission back in, guys.
Alright, so today we're going to be replacing the flywheel and the rear main seal. These are an 18mm, or at least on my truck, and I made this crow's foot here to lock the flywheel so I could break these loose by myself. So we're changing the rear main seal while we're in here. This one was getting old, wore out. I don't know when it was changed last, but you got the flywheel off. Now's the time to do it because you got to take the transmission in. You got to take the transmission and the flywheel out to change it. So it's a $20 seal, I think it was. I don't know. Either way, it was much cheaper to do it now, even if it didn't need it, than to do it later. And I'm a firm believer in putting a little bit of gasket seal maker on it. Some people say it's overkill or unnecessary. I've been doing this for years, and knock on wood, I've had good success with it. And every time I don't do it, I have a leak. So now I just go ahead. And I don't put a whole lot. You see, I'm just putting enough just to put a light coat on it. It's nothing special. Get on and get it lined up. We're just going to put a really thin coat of sealant on the back side of the gasket, just because it, you know, the surface it's going on is a sheet metal cover, and it could be a little out of tolerance, you know. And again, we're just putting ever so light coat. We don't want it thick. We don't want it, you know, make a gasket. We're just trying to ensure that if it's uneven or got any issues, that it seals. We'll put this in, and then we'll do a side by side with the new flywheel going. It was leaking bad, but it was leaking. Yeah. And these don't have to be super torque. I've been doing this for years. There's a torque spec for it. I do it by feel, as I've been doing it so long, but there is a torque spec for these, and you probably should go buy the torque spec. Or you can just throw the bolt away like I did. But you see, you gotta take the transmission off and the flywheel to get to this. So it's just a good idea to do it while we're. We purchased this clutch from a company called Carolina Clutch here in North Carolina. And, I did my research. But we chose something really heavy, so I wanted a good clutch. So I reached out to these guys, and they specifically designed this for hot shot haulers. So there's all the bolts and the alignment pin. There's a new throwout bearing. Clutch plate, or actually this is the actual pressure plate, and we'll get the old one out here in a bit. And a new clutch disc.
Ready?
Work new pipe. New pilot bearing that we're going to put in. You should have a bearing tool. I don't. I got a hammer and a socket, and that's how we're going to do it. ahead and seat it. I'll give it one more. There we go. Again, you should have rubber tools, or a press would even be even better, but as you see, we're out here in the middle of nowhere. So use what we have.
Totally rednecking it. That's a word.
Hey, well, we've had good luck with it every year, so that's what we're going to do.
Yep, but it looks so pretty. All right, get this baby in.
So we put the new rear main seal in, and we also hammered and dollied this lip right here from about the center of the transmission to about right here in order to clearance for the new downpipe that comes through. They say you can do it from up top. We have the transmission out again, so it just made more sense for me to do it now, but that's what we did. And now we're getting ready to throw the new flywheel up on here and get it torqued down. We're going to torque it to 95 foot-pounds according to the old interweb. And yeah, let's get her done. Maybe just stay. And I just go ahead and lock tight the bolts as I put them in.
It's on the right.
Yep. It only goes on one way. It does have an indicator dowel pin.
Oh, okay.
Loctite's really cold. We're just using blue Loctite. Should be sufficient. I have put engines together without using Loctite on the flywheel bolt and not having issues, so going the extra step and putting blue Loctite on it should be just fine.
That's the little holder piece we made earlier.
Just use a bell housing bolt.
Hold the flywheel still, so let's move. All right, here we go. So is there a certain pattern you do this?
I go with general rule of thumb. I do a crisscross, so I'm doing 95 foot-pounds, starting here, 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 and then I'll start back up here, 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 and just do it like you would a wheel. Whoever had them on. Of course, they were Loctited too. Yeah. We started here. We're just gonna go one above it.
Yeah, torque it. Torque it.
Did a minute ago. And this one. This one. This one. This one. And that should be all 10, but now we'll just go through and we're not torquing them, we're just making sure we got them all. All right, done. For anybody wondering, I cut this out of a piece of 1x4 flat stock. I just cut it with an angle grinder the best I could. I made a template out of cardboard, and you know, it ain't pretty, but it works. Just use the bell housing bolt, hold it in here.
Made that piece.
Worked great. Did its job anyway. This was the clutch disc we had in here. It wasn't completely wore out, but it was close. but it is missing a few springs. I don't know if they came out, or if they just was never in there from the factory. But you see how small this center clutch plate is here? This is a much larger diameter, and the actual clutch circumference is, I believe, maybe a little larger. Find out. Yeah. So, but if you do comparison of the spring housing assembly, this is built to take a lot more abuse and a lot more weight. Look at the size of the springs in here compared to these. It's just gonna be a lot better setup for us. So thank you to Carolina Clutch for this clutch, and can't wait to put some miles on it and let you know how it does. And then we also have, this is the old pressure plate. And it's got a little surface rust on it now, but it has a bunch of hot spots in it where it got way overheated. You can even see how hot it got on these rivets that hold the fingers in. It got extremely hot. It just did not have the clamping force to pull a 20,000 pound 44 foot pistol. And the new one that we got is massive. It even weighs more, and it's supposed to have about, I can't remember if he told me it was about 100 pounds over stock clamping force or 90 pounds, but it's up there over the stock clamping force. So yeah, looking forward to getting this baby in and down the road.
Well, here comes the clutch.
So we're installing the clutch, and you always want to use a install alignment tool to put it in with. Says torque on 20 foot-pounds, that's what we're gonna do. Trying to get that one tight. Sure we got them all tight. All right, it's in.
Clutch is in.
This pull straight out. We'll take our little flywheel stop back off. Worked great. Worked very good. So I forgot that we were missing a bell housing bolt, and I do believe that it was in that hole there. So we're just checking to make sure the threads are good. We know the threads are good in that one. So we're actually going to leave two out because I'm going to take one with me tomorrow when I go out to town. and get a new bolt. If I can't find an OEM bolt nowhere, I will probably go to a grade 8. They just fine. I've used them many a times on a bunch of other projects. They ain't had no issue. And at this point, any bolt is better than not having a bolt in it at all. So, see what we can get our hands on there.